For most of your working life, every single paycheck had a line on it: Social Security. You didn't get to choose whether to pay it. You paid it when you were 22 and barely making rent. You paid it in your 30s when you had kids and a mortgage. You paid it in your 50s when retirement finally started to feel real. Now here's a question nobody ever asked you when they were taking that money. What happened to it while you were waiting to collect it? Because here's what the congressional record actually shows. Congress spent it. Not secretly, not illegally, but quietly, consistently, and in a way that was never properly explained to the people whose money it was. This is the documented story of what happened to your Social Security contributions. And once you know it, the debates you keep hearing about Social Security's future will never sound the same again. When Franklin Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act in 1935, the idea was straightforward. Working Americans would contribute a percentage of their wages into a dedicated fund. That fund would accumulate. When you retired, the money would be there. Simple, honest, a promise. For about 30 years, it mostly worked that way. Then came 1968. Lyndon Johnson was president. The Vietnam War was expensive. The Great Society programs were expensive. The federal budget was under serious strain. Johnson's administration made a decision, approved by Congress, to move Social Security into what was called the unified budget. This meant Social Security surplus, the money coming in that wasn't immediately needed for current retirees, would be counted alongside all other federal revenue. It was presented as an accounting change. What it actually did was make the surplus available to be spent on anything the government wanted to spend it on. And Congress spent it. I want you to think about your own paycheck for a second. Think about the last 40 years of that Social Security line. Every 2 weeks, taken automatically, gone. You assumed it was going somewhere specific, into something with your name on it, or at least with your generation's name on it. The truth is more complicated. That money came in and it was used to pay current retirees, which is how the system was designed. But the surplus, the extra, was borrowed by the federal government and replaced with special Treasury bonds, IOUs essentially, redeemable in theory when the bills come due. Those bills are coming due right now. By the early 1980s, Social Security was in genuine trouble. The system was running out of money faster than expected. So in 1983, President Reagan appointed a commission led by economist Alan Greenspan, yes, the same Alan Greenspan who would later run the Federal Reserve, to fix it. The Greenspan Commission's solution was straightforward. Raise payroll taxes significantly. Create a large surplus in the Social Security Trust Fund. Let that surplus build up over the next few decades, specifically to prepare for the retirement of the baby boomer generation, your generation. The commission knew the boomers were coming. They designed the system to prepare for that wave. Between 1983 and 2009, Social Security collected more than it paid out every single year. That surplus, over time, reached approximately $2.8 trillion. It was supposed to be sitting in a trust fund waiting. Here's what was actually in the trust fund: special Treasury bonds. The government had borrowed the surplus every year as it came in and replaced it with bonds representing a promise to pay it back later. Senator Ernest Hollings of South Carolina said it clearly on the Senate floor in 1989. He called it a thievery. Those are his words in the congressional record, not mine. Now, let's be fair about something important. The bonds are real. The government is legally obligated to repay them. This is not the same as the money disappearing. But here's the practical reality. To repay those bonds, the government has to either raise taxes, cut other spending, or borrow more money from somewhere else. There is no pile of cash sitting in a vault. there is a pile of IOUs from a government that is already carrying over $30 trillion in total debt. Whether you find that reassuring or alarming probably depends on how close you are to collecting. The Social Security Trustees, the official government body that monitors the system, have been publishing annual reports for years. Their current projections, based on the most recent data available, suggest that if Congress makes no changes, the trust fund reserves will be depleted somewhere around 2033 to 2035. After that point, Social Security would still have income from payroll taxes, but it could only pay out approximately 77 to 80% of scheduled benefits. That's a roughly 20% automatic cut. For someone expecting $1,800 a month, that becomes $1,400 a month. No warning, no vote on your part, just a mathematical consequence of a decision that was made quietly, incrementally, over decades, while you were working and paying in and trusting that the promise was being kept. Congress has known about this trajectory for years. It has not passed a comprehensive fix. It has, however, continued using the system's incoming revenue in the way it has since 1968. Here's what I want to leave you with. This isn't about blaming one president or one party. Republicans and Democrats have both sat in the room while this happened. The 1983 fix was bipartisan. The spending of the surplus was bipartisan. The silence about what was coming has been completely bipartisan. This is what institutions do when a problem is coming slowly. They manage it. They defer it. They count on the fact that a problem 20 years away will be handled by someone else, in someone else's term, on someone else's watch. You paid in for 40 years based on a specific promise. The documented record of what happened to that money deserves to be part of a conversation you were never invited to have. Now, you're having it. Next episode, we follow the financial network that connects everything in this series to a single building in Basel, Switzerland, a bank that answers to no government on Earth and has been running since 1930. That story, next episode.